Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Sarasota County Croquet Club on this beautiful Friday morning. It's just 9 a.m., and I assume we'll be seeing the players taking the court soon to warm up. Welcome back to the final day and the championship gold medal match for the Under 21 Golf Croquet World Championship Final. We had some very exciting matches yesterday. For those of you who may not have been able to join us or weren't able to see a lot of it, we hope that you'll go back and watch that footage. Some absolutely riveting matches. But today we have a very, very exciting match ahead of us. Levi Franks from New Zealand versus Fozzy from Egypt. And as you can see here, the yellow ball just lagging in, so that indicates that the players are probably beginning their practice now. You can see some other scorecards there on the bottom of the screen. Next to this court 7 here in the back corner, we have court 6, the Shield final between Ethan Gumbrell from Australia and Sam Cuthbert from England. And then we have the under 21 bowl final on court 5 between Jessica Bullen from New Zealand and Jana Syed from Egypt. So, really interesting matches that are going to be coming up here pretty soon. The final here is a best of 5, and the Shield and the bowl are a best of 3. And if those matches do conclude in fairly early order, we will attempt to maybe get some of those players in here to the booth with me to do a little commentary and to talk with you guys. I'm going to try to pull up the live stream here on my phone again so that I can see all of the lovely comments that you guys leave and answer any questions that you guys might have for me or for anyone else who might join me in the booth here. We may hear a little bit later from Blake Fields and just get his take. He's very familiar by this point with the finalists' play styles, and it would be nice to hear from a world champion and someone who's played in many of these events since, I believe, the age of 12. So, all right, YouTube. If I do catch anyone like an anglerfish around the tent, I will try to, that I think would like to get some commentary in. I will try to grab them to do this along with me. So it's always a little bit more engaging when I have someone to blabber at. But, so, I don't know if they've selected colors yet. I think they're just playing both colors. So we can see here just some interesting things to start this. On paper, Fozzy Helmy is a clear favorite. His world ranking is 16th, and he's 7th ranked in Egypt. And Levi Franks is ranked 38th, and he's 5th ranked in New Zealand. Both of these players' rankings are pre-tournament, so based on their performances so far, they will have changed. I highly doubt that the relation of their rankings has changed much. Both of them have, I think, barely dropped a game against their opponents, and the opponents they have dropped a game against have been fairly high ranked. So both numbers are probably moving up, but they're probably staying in close relation to one another. In the Shield final, you can see Ethan Gumbrell is 270 in the world. Sam Cuthbert is 70th in the world. And I've said it before on the live stream, I think that Ethan's grade is slightly deflated. I've played him myself, and he took a game off of me last year, and he played amazing. And I've seen him really be steady in the last 6 months. Every time I've seen him on a live stream or here in person, it's just I think that that ranking should at least be double digits. So that'll be an interesting match and see which one of them can come out in better form. And then finally, we have Jessica Bullen and Jana Syed, and again, sort of a large grade discrepancy. You see ranking discrepancy. Excuse me. You see 334 versus 147. So I would say Jana probably has more experience going into this match. She's been playing probably for about 8 years now in Egypt, and it is very, very competitive over there. So she's definitely had a lot of tournament experience at this point, and she just looked very steady when she played against Levi. And Levi played extremely well, and Jana, gave him a very hard time. But I have played Jessica, as well, and seen her play, and she's a tough competitor. She has a really good swing, very steady form. So it'll be interesting to see which one of them just happens to come out in top form quicker in this match. They are best of threes, so it is a bit of a marathon, not a sprint, but you can set a tone if you can come out quickly and establish a few hoops and maybe get the momentum on your side. And I just got the chat here open. Good morning, Gata. Mikey Lauer says, "Have you played Levi before, Tom?" I have. I've had the pleasure of playing Levi on 2 occasions. The first time was the first time that I met him at the Fletcher Sharp Invitational last year. And I'll be honest, and this is on me. I had never met him. I hadn't even really heard about him. And during the event before we played, because we played on the last day for 5th place, I didn't even really get to watch him play. So my initial reaction was a bit like, oh, look at this. He's a little guy, and he's got this big sort of crooked swing. And I was just like, all right, this should be fine. I should handle this. And then before I know it, I'm 5-1 down in game 1, and I was like, who the hell is this? So, very tough competitor. And then we had I had the honor of playing him at the Open Shaw just recently, and again he was super strong, playing really well. And I knew after the Fletcher Sharp, I was like, yeah, they're crazy if they don't put him on that team. And they obviously made the right decision, and he played extremely well. We played New Zealand in the semifinals, and it was one of the toughest tests that we played in the whole of any team we played against. And so, yeah, I have high hopes and high expectations for what we'll see out of Levi over the next few years. I think he's, like I said, his world ranking's 38. I think he's world top 20 easily. He just, especially when he's on, we saw a little yesterday, maybe he's a little up and down. So in the first 2 games against Jack, that's the performance that I'm used to seeing from him. Just that sort of like long hoops, clear everything, almost can't be beaten. And then you saw in games 3 and 4 that he started to falter a little bit and open the door for Jack. And Jack was just playing really steady. And, Jack was playing probably like very similar croquet the whole way through that match. And just, Levi was either peaking above that or dipping below it. But you saw that those valleys of Levi's, performance were just started to falter a little bit. But he brought it back in the end. So, it'll be interesting to see if he can start to sort of, temper those low points. And when he does, I think it'll be a no-brainer that he'll be world top 20. World top 10 even. I just can't say enough about what I think about Levi in that regard. But so, and on the other side of things, interestingly enough, this is the first time I've ever met or seen Fozzy Helmy play. It's one of those characters in croquet that you hear sort of stories about, because of how good they are. You hear, the boogeyman stories of, just don't play this guy, or, this guy will tear you to pieces. I've heard of some of his exploits over in Egypt and in previous under-21 World Championships. So I know that he was probably a favorite to make the final. Obviously, I wanted Blake as my fellow American to do well and to take home the gold, but I think it was well deserved on the part of Fozzy to get here. That match yesterday between him and Blake, just he looked like a winner. He looked like a champion. He just played steady the whole way through. And again, I think it kind of comes down to Blake had maybe some slightly higher highs, but some lower lows. Blake was going through periods where he was making hoop shots from everywhere. South boundary at hoop 6, angled hoop shot for almost from the corner at hoop 7, and just all these crazy things. Hoop 11 from behind hoop 7, and you just saw these absolutely unbelievable shots. But that would come with periods of he would be missing some of his medium length or slightly longer clearances. He wasn't getting his positions all the time when he really needed them. And you just saw Fozzy never really falter. You just saw him. He maybe wasn't doing as flashy or incredible things as Blake was doing, but he just played steady, good, solid croquet the whole way through. and that carried him to the finish line. So there's definitely something to be said for that level of consistency, even when your opponent does go through periods of just being unbeatable almost. Addison asked my predictions for today. I again, because I know Levi and because I know what Levi's capable of, and I have that sort of familiarity. I want to say Levi in 5 games. There's another part of my brain that kind of recognizes that if Fozzy comes out playing strong like he has the last day or two, that it might be over before 5 games, and it'd probably be Fozzy. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I don't know how their styles are going to match up against each other necessarily, but yeah. So I'll reserve judgment until maybe we get this first game out of the way. It'll depend on which version of them I think has shown up to play today. If we get the version of Levi that played in game 1 and 2 of that semi yesterday, I think Levi is more than capable of winning this match in fairly handy fashion, but. Yeah, it's going to be tough because Fozzy just is not going to be phased by the moment. He's been here in these situations before, and it's just going to be tough for Levi. It's just going to be tough for both of them. So we'll see what happens. New Zealand doesn't have a lot of ranking tournaments. So hard to increase your ranking fast might show the reason for the gap in rankings compared to other countries. Yeah, so this is a thing that different countries do struggle with. I'm just gonna pause my little spiel here. You see Michael Albert there, tournament manager, what most of the world would call the director. We reverse here in the States, manager and director. So I guess this is a WCF event. He technically is the director, and I should use the proper term. But we drive on the correct side of the road, so you have to deal with me today. I'm on the mic. So anyway, so that was just a quick flash of Michael Albert announcing to the gathering crowd behind the camera who is what courts and what matches will be on which court today. So, all right. So back to what I was saying about the ranking tournaments. There are certain countries that definitely struggle more than others to get their grades up to where they should be. So grade deflation and even grade inflation is a thing because you do get certain sort of little pockets that play a lot of sanctioned tournaments sort of against the same people, and they can kind of build their grades up artificially, and then when they step out of that little bubble, it's like, oh, you're 2,300, but you don't play like one. So, and then a lot of other countries suffer from the opposite issue, where you don't get to play nearly enough to, even if you're playing really good opponents, to get your grades up anywhere. And unfortunately, the croquet is an expensive sport to play. Lots of traveling involved, long excursions away. So some of us out there are able to do that a little more often than others, and a lot of the younger people are still in school and starting their careers, so it just makes it difficult sometimes for these really good players like what you see here to really get the points and the position in the world that they deserve. So I think it's a testament to how little time I've been exposed to Levi sort of on this international level that he's gotten his rank up as high as it has. I mean, he's making the best of the opportunities that he's been given. So really good to see that. And we've just started in the game here. Levi Franks will be playing blue and black. Fozzy Helmy will be playing red and yellow. And blue went a little long in its initial shot. Red went deep. Black got a really good ball in. But yellow is unfortunately quite short. So Levi will have an opportunity here, if he cuts this, if he hits the right half of this ball, to get red well back towards the corner 4 area. Realistically, probably only cuts it. Realistically, he cut it all the way back to the corner. Wow, what a shot! So, and that's the kind of thing that, again, that makes me believe I have Levi in this match. He can just step out onto the lawn and hit shots like that and make it look casual, when he wants to. Now, obviously, Fozzy hit some shots yesterday and just was relentless in his clearances, but we'll see what happens. Ooh. And again, just a little bit of a misstep there. Red had the pace maybe to get back in front of the hoop, maybe hamper black, but it just drifted into yellow. And there's absolutely zero pressure now on this shot. So we will see Levi here potentially try to run this with control. But despite the fact that, as you can see, he has a very large Solomon grip swing, he's very good at running these sort of so he's very good at running those hoops with control. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the curse again. I didn't say he would make it. But that's normally what my hoop shots look like when I try to take some pace off of it. I just need to blast it to the north boundary. And what I was going to say was we saw him yesterday and the last several days. Even despite his large swing, he would take pace off of those hoop shots of that sort of slightly longer length, those 1.5, 2 yarders that are just getting to that point where they're not like a gimme. And he would be able to run them all the way down to the next hoop with control, not just blast them off to the boundary. I believe we're seeing a hoop shot here. That was certainly his MO yesterday. Oh, no, playing a little bit more conservative today. You like to see it. And that was a very well-executed shot. Hits left half there. Takes short boundary position. Fozzy here will be looking to get in position off of this clearance, slightly left of center. Hits dead center on that one. Don't think that's what he wanted. He hasn't gotten in front of the hoop. Now, if he's happened to get red wired from blue, that would be fairly lucky. But I don't. That's unlikely to have occurred. So, with yellow being behind the hoop where it is, Levi now has the opportunity here to get black into good position, potentially wired. And then blue, even if yellow moves blue somewhere, blue will only be in the corner area and can easily address red. The ball's coming in a little hot. So, all right. That might actually be wired. If not, he can see it on the east side of the hoop. I thought that ball was going to slide out a lot longer. So, just from the look of it. But maybe it was just the motion of the camera. So, oh, thank you. Ahmed Al-Sharafa says, good day, Tom. I would like to personally thank you for the effort you've done for us and the fantastic commentary. Thank you, guys. So it's I'm glad I was able to get down here and help. Take a few days off from. Ooh, narrow miss there, just on the left-hand side from his perspective. So that definitely means I think that blue can see red and see it clearly. But he's looking at it though. If this is not even partially hampered, then we're going to see again. He's going to attempt right half here and push it back to that corner 4 area. He's not hitting this. I wonder if it's wired. He's going for a block. Okay, so he didn't get it. That must mean it was wired. So good position there for red. He'll be looking to cut this to the corner. So, yeah, a little unfortunate for Levi that he wasn't able to see that ball. But it's not the end of the world yet. Gets the cut he wants. Takes the black ball out of good hoop running position, even on the boundary. And I think we're just going to see another ball going tight here. At this point, just try to start setting in balls to potentially block those boundary line hoops, force him to keep clearing. But yeah, so I'm just really glad that I could be here with you guys, and thank you for putting up with me relentlessly in this booth over the last 3 or 4 days or so. It's maybe a little bit unorthodox in events like this for one person to be doing this much, but all the other people about mostly are busy here and there on the courts, and I'm happy that I can offer my services and insights. And you can always watch the videos back on mute if you can't stand me. But we have Brenda, Lee, Pete, all the best, Ethan, and Levi. It's 11:30 p.m. here in Australia. All right, well. I'm sorry that you guys might have to burn the midnight oil a little bit to watch Levi here, your countryman, and to potentially take down this match. This is going to go on for a while, so I'd get some coffee in me if I were you. Big shot here. I think this is hoop based on where he's lined up. It might be blue, though. It's hard to tell from this camera angle. Yeah, that was blue. I mean, that was hoop. Excuse me. You saw that ball was in the air. So, again, these players, when they hit it really hard, I'd be interested to have someone slow-mo that and see if he just struck down on it just ever so slightly, which kind of exacerbates that small amount of bumpiness that's in these lawns that can cause the ball to skip. So, And that's the hoop shot that I was expecting earlier. And you see there, even from that slightly angled, 1.5-yard position, doesn't need to hammer it through to the north boundary, runs it down level with hoop 2 almost. And if that had straightened up a little bit more, he might even be in hoop running position. So really good pace. And that's just what we've been seeing. He's made his 7-yard hoops. He's made all of those really long, impressive ones with full power. But those sort of 2 to 4-yard hoops, he's actually able to run with consistent control. And I think that's going to be a really important skill if he's able to consistently do that this match, because we expect that Fozzy will be running hoops hard, getting to the boundary, and having to make these sort of long clearances back from a similar position to where Yellow ended up right there before. Now, he's obviously been offside, so he's had to move it. But if you saw the last time the camera panned over, Yellow was on the north boundary. So it'll really be interesting to see how much of a difference maker it is getting that ball sort of in relative position to defend the hoop within a few yards like Blue is, or maybe even in a hoop running position, versus maybe having to contend with multiple 7 to 10-yard clearances from behind the hoop.
So. Karen Bisley on that camera, and you can see now she's Ethan Gumbrell's mother.
Yes. So right there, behind Levi here taking that shot, I've just been informed. So that is Karen Bisley on that camera. That's the mother of Ethan Gumbrell, who is in the Shield final on the court next to us. So she may be joining us later in the booth, but right now she's filming and rooting on her son, Ethan. So, and she's been in the commentary booth over the last couple of days. So, just like to give her a shout out and thank her for contributing to y'all's experience in this chat and in this live stream, so that we can bring you all the best entertainment we possibly can and some amazing croquet. So, Mikey Lauer says, 1 a.m. here in New Zealand, about to fly to Sydney for the Fletcher Sharp. So good way to wake up watching some croquet. Oh, the Fletcher Sharp is right now. Okay. or about to be. Yeah. Fletcher Sharp, I don't have any affiliation with the tournament in terms of I'm not one of its, narrow miss. Long shot, but needed to hit that one. Not sure if black is open on the hoop. If it is, we can expect him to be shooting this. If it's not, he'll be trying to stop Yellow. Actually, if it's not, he might just jump it. So Levi was not shying away from those medium-length jump hoops the other day. But he did play some shots already at hoop 1 that I thought were maybe a touch more conservative than he was playing against Jack. So maybe just trying to test the waters. Ooh, it is open, and he runs it smoothly. So after that first misstep at hoop 1, 2 really good hoop shots in a row, and that's one of the things that he's been doing so amazing just in general, not just the running them with control that I mentioned earlier, but just about any hoop he's looked at, there have been periods where he just cannot miss them from anywhere within 7 or 8 yards. So it's just, we'll see if he can sustain that. We saw the best of 5 match yesterday, and in the middle of the match started to falter. Now, I will say, the players would have been more fatigued. He had played earlier in the day and played extremely well. He then had to wait, then go into the afternoon, and that match was taking a long time. We remember how long the shadows were getting here last night, so players were probably getting hungry and perhaps a bit dehydrated if they hadn't been keeping up with that. It's very, very easy here in South Florida to let that sun towards the end of the day just have beaten you down and you don't even realize it. I've definitely let it happen to me a couple of times. So we'll see here if it makes any difference that this match is starting here in the morning, and if maybe Levi's got a good sleep last night, is fresh. Fozzy looked good and solid the entire day through. I think he was maybe a little bit better at regulating everything, maybe a little bit better at keeping up his pace, and just a little more energy there. So I doubt we'll see any weakness in that regard from Fozzy as we go along throughout this match. So, but yes, I won't say I'm involved with the Fletcher Sharp, but having played the inaugural one, I have to say one of the most fun tournaments that I've ever played. If you are out there and you're under, I think it's 35, that was their cutoff. If you are 35 or under, I highly encourage you. You owe it to yourself at least once to go to Sydney to attend the Fletcher Sharp. It is just an incredible, incredible event. And Fozzy here with his first hoop attempt of the day, angled and rejected. Back towards him. So, it is going to be another hoop attempt for Levi. And so that obviously was runnable. Fozzy knew he had a chance. Interesting that Levi just sort of gave him that shot. That was the first real sort of shorter hoop attempt that we've seen. So Levi might just be testing him there. Just say like, let's see how you're shooting. I'm 2-0 up. You're hitting an angled shot. That's a beautiful hoop. Caught a little extra wire there again, just trying to run that with control, and it's okay. I mean, he's probably a little north of the peg, but it's just interesting there that maybe Levi was trying to test Fozzy early in the game and say, take an angled one. It's difficult. I'm not going to bother to clear you and get into this protracted battle. Either you make it or I make it. So, and the angle that hoop was at, he didn't probably expect him to go down all the way either. So, good opportunity maybe even if he does make hoop 3, not to give up hoop 4. And that's just an amazing shot right there. Amazing touch. Yellow here looking for that block. Looks like it's just, there's a little bit maybe of a hill off there towards the back fence, because I think that was on a good line. And that red ball will be open. Now, black's gotten itself so close to the hoop, and at the angle of this clearance, if he hits it relatively straight, there's going to be good opportunities for a wire to happen here. So, but obviously he'll just take any hit on this he can get. Don't want to hit it left of center. There's a lot of furniture there with the hoop and black, but can't be thinking about those things when you're up to it. Well, and that's just about as straight as you can hit it. So I don't know. It might be wired if he's jogging to it, making sure he gets the right spot. I mean, look at how short of a distance blue went after that ball, and that's with a little hop in the air. I mean, that's dead center. And I do believe from this angle that is wired. If it's not, then he has to see it on the right-hand side of the hoop from our perspective here on the camera, and I don't think he's hitting in the middle. But yeah, he's looking at this. This may have to be one of those moments where you go through the hoop to hit that ball. So it'll be interesting to see what he's choosing here. That was what he was doing. And honestly, it was a great swing. Hit the dead middle of that hoop and just popped back and spun to the side. So, a millimeter one way or the other, depending on which wire he hit a little more of, and that would have sailed through and potentially centered that black ball, because black is fairly straight in front of that hoop. Those can be inconsistent, though, because you never quite know the angle that the ball will slip out of. You catch just a fraction of wire, and it could ricochet all the way in the direction of yellow. But these hoops are fresh. That was the first time it had been played, so they've been very good at setting hoops straight in the ground. They've been very good at setting them firm. So you would expect, and they're pretty tight, down below a 1/16 of an inch minimum, trying to get them down to a 32nd. So you would expect the ball to sort of be channeled back straight again when it exits the hoop, at least in these early stages of the day. But you did see Levi's shot at hoop 1 when he made it from a slight angle. It didn't straighten up fully. It kind of ended up a little bit west of the hoop. So, and Fozzy here will be attempting to, he can't get over to hoop 5. Unfortunately, he's been hampered, so he's going to try and lay in a block for his yellow ball. This is a very tricky shot to get right. Requires really good touch. If he gets it, though, Fozzy very likely get himself up on the board. And that's just short. It didn't make it. So, stopped just shy of a yard north of that black ball. As you can see from there really well, needed another foot at least to have a chance. It's all he really had. Yeah, he could have, maybe lagged it halfway or something and just hoped for a miss. Just say if you miss it, I'll run the hoop and have another ball. But he's being proactive. He wants to he wants to put it on his mallet. I like that. Well, a little luck goes one way or the other. My goodness. So Levi with an amazing clearance hits the left half of the ball and pushes it right into the middle of the hoop. Now, as you can see from this camera angle, I don't know if it runs. And jawsing here is dangerous. We know Levi is a very confident jump shot player, and Fozzy knows that. So he's going to debate this. If he thinks that there's a chance maybe he can force it through or pop it through, he might take it. But again, you're not guaranteed to get through the hoop very far. You're almost guaranteed exactly not to get through it very far. So he's going to test fate here. He's going to basically say, jump it. It's first jump of the day. You know, if you put me through, it's going to be a good momentum shifter. So the tendency here, when you maybe don't exactly know how bouncy this lawn is going to be, obviously it's a new day, new conditions. The lawn might be a little more damp. The tendency is to overhit these because you're specifically wanting to avoid putting yellow through. So top of the crown is something that you see quite often for these first ones before people have really gotten their feel in. Okay, so that did kind of hit the top of the hoop. It hit the underside of the crown, though, so that had the height to go through. I think had it been a touch lower, it might have had a chance to sort of like pull itself through. But again, just slightly overhit and has popped yellow out of perfect jaws position, but has left it in a runnable position. Now, the good news is for Levi is I think with where black ricocheted, he'll be able to see it. And I think that's indicated by the fact that red has now lagged into position. So he's expecting, yeah. I think it's tight, but it's definitely possible to hit. Otherwise, we would have probably seen red go halfway if there was no chance of black laying a hand on that yellow ball. All right. Big clearance coming up here. Levi is 4-0 up. We need to update the scoreboard. So, and he clears his own partner. So obviously that blue ball was close to the left-hand side of that shot from his viewpoint and just missed a touch to the left. So I think with Fozzy's position, he can, if he hits this properly, he can get this past the peg, maybe even all the way to the hoop. It's hard to tell exactly how far out of the hoop he is. You can see he's quite in front of that right wire. So it's not the straightest shot, but he does have some separation. You can see by the shadow there of the hoop and the ball. So he has room to make this. So Levi will be thinking himself rather unlucky that this has gone this way, you know. Okay, yeah, so he can make that very clean. So again, running that hoop with control, Fozzy showing that he's got the touch. Get down there. I think that yellow could even be considered scoring from some of the hoops I saw Fozzy run yesterday. Those angled hoops did not bother him a bit. Yeah, so I think Levi will count himself pretty unlucky the way that hoop went. You know, red was out of position. He made the clearance and just was unlucky enough to put it into the hoop. So these things happen. It's part of the game. You don't expect to hit it just that perfectly. If he had hit it, struck at a half inch right or left of where he did, it probably whiffs right by the hoop. But you know, at a clearance that's slightly over 10 yards, you're just happy to lay hands on it. So a lot of that's going to be short. I think he came in from the side there, and I think that's a little uphill. I think there's a downslope towards the back fence ever so slightly. So I just think that he wasn't quite judging that correctly. So yeah, red here with a really good ball. He did manage to get blue inside of yellow, so yellow can't send it back down south of the court, but unfortunately there's now a wire opportunity if yellow wants to cut blue correctly because they're so close together. So it would be fairly straightforward, comparatively speaking. So this is going to be a clearance probably on red. On yellow. All right. Now, this is one of those moments where I would say to myself, if I were playing, I'd hit the great shot and I go, if only I had put blue in position. Because he's actually if blue is in better position, there's a chance it would be wired right now. And he's put black over on the side boundary next to hoop 7. So We have some people in the chat. Can you tell us Jana's match score and any updates on the other games? What do we got, Russ?
Well, the shield score is up. I will
Yeah.
text Mike Albert to text us that every now and then.
Yeah. So we will. We're gonna reach out to Mike Albert, who's out there. You can see his other half, Karen, out there at the moment.
Sorry?
And but Michael Albert will be able to get us those scores for you guys. Levi's going for this hoop. He considers it makeable. Maybe it is angled. It's very angled, but he's a little further back maybe than I thought he was. But this is not a trivial hoop. He's looking like he's going to jump this. Actually, this is extreme. Oh my God! What a shot! So I suspect he's doing that because.
What just happened?
Oh, well, that's where Black ended up. This is interesting. So Levi scores hoop 6 with a really angled jump shot. Black is in the back of hoop 7 with a chance to just trickle through to position.
And I can see the scoreboard.
Did that get all the way through? No, it didn't. Okay, that's not good. Now, not the end of the world potentially, because if blue clears red, well, it's bad. I'm not going to make excuses for it. That's not good. And this, guys, is why we don't go through the back of the hoop. So now he obviously had to because that's where he was. But this is why if you're just in open grass, and you have a choice to go through the hoop or set up slightly angled to the hoop, just set up angled to the hoop. Unless you have to block somebody, and if you don't block them, then you're going to lose, or you think you're going to lose, Then, so the problem with this sequence, for those who may not be familiar with this, is if he clears red, red just sets back up. Now, and then if black trickles through, yellow is just going to kill black, potentially in off. Yellow actually kind of wishes it was in better position, probably, because then even if he trickles through, you could jump it more reliably. That's a really good shot, actually, to take the corner. So, really good shot. Now, imagine if black had slipped through the hoop by another quarter of an inch with red where it is on the boundary here. South of this hoop, this would be very difficult for Fozzy to dislodge that. So he's just looking to put balls back in position because, again, black cannot score. So Levi's going to find himself under the gun here. What I actually might be tempted to do, since he's set up so straight and I'm most of the way through the hoop if I'm Levi, is I might just take the clearance on red. I might just sort of do a little bunt through the hoop, try to cut red back a bit. So he's looking at yellow's hoop shot, I think for the sole purpose of seeing whether or not he can get away with that. But he might also be looking if he can kind of hit it at an angle to trickle out and stay directly in line with the hoop from where yellow is and make it impossible for yellow to stay in position if he does clear it. So you see him there lining up the potential shot on red. There's just not a lot of great options here. Just not getting into scoring position on that hoop just ruins so many opportunities. Aeneas Adelphus, thank you, man. It's been great. There are probably days I'm a better commentator than player with how up and down I can be, but thank you. Trying to keep it consistent. But thank you guys so much for your kind words. I'm glad that you guys have been enjoying it. Finally there's a forum where my endless chatter can actually serve some purpose. But and then Mikey Lauer says, "Do you get to play in an under 21 Worlds, Tom?" I did not. So for those of you who don't know, compared to a lot of the other young players in America here, like Matthew, who started at tournaments at 9, Steven has been playing since he was 8. Matthew's been playing since he was 3. Blake, who started, I believe, at he was single digits, but his first under 21 was at 12. I didn't find croquet at all until college. I've been playing for 7 years now. I'm 27, about to turn 28. So my first tournament was in summer of 2018. I played American rules. And I played a little 9-wicket the semester before that, which is how I got exposed to it at the college I went to. I actually can boast that the college match that we have every year at St. John's, the school I went to in Annapolis, we are right across the street from the U.S. Naval Academy, and we have a 9-wicket croquet match against them every April. We just had it earlier this month again. Good shot. And it is the largest croquet event in the world in terms of spectators. We regularly get 4,000 plus people. Pre-COVID, we were getting 7,000. Then they stopped selling as many tickets because it was starting to get a little unmanageable. But so if you guys are ever find yourself in the States, for all my international friends, in early to mid-April, let me know. I might be able to land you guys some tickets if you're around the Maryland area. It's a fun event, but that's my first exposure to croquet. So I unfortunately never got the opportunity to compete in this event, and I wish I'd found croquet earlier and just had more time to develop myself. But these players are definitely definitely better at a younger age than I. Some of them are better than me now. Big clearance here. You want to hit left half of this. And missed on the left half of that slightly. So, really important. He was looking for the cut there. Send red to the side, and black probably to end up just inside of the halfway peg on the back boundary. Did not connect. So it's hard at those sort of longer distances. Obviously you should just be aiming center ball. You're kind of you're braver than I am if you're taking on a 9-yarder, and your idea is to try and hit half a ball at 9 yards. Someone asked, Mankel asked, are these Atkins hoops? They're running them with ease compared to other tournaments I've seen played with Atkins. So. Yeah, the quadways in this, we've talked about a little bit on the live stream. The quadways in this soft Florida ground aren't quite their full potency. And that's not to say that they're easy by any means. We've been setting them really tight. I think it's a dual combination of the fact that you're watching the two best players in form right now, and over the last couple of days, everybody's been in really good form. And these young heavy hitters are just really good at running hoops. That's a good shot, and he cut it well. So back to the corner with blue. He'll have another long clearance ahead of him with black, but Levi's not giving any ground. Yeah, so if you go back and watch the footage of Chesapeake Bay when we had the World Championships back in October, you'll see there that these things were a different beast. When we put them in firm ground, because that up there in Virginia is some hard clay. I was scared to run a hoop for more than 3 yards. I mean, look where that yellow ball is right now. That would be considered a dicey proposition for most players to run that hoop. You didn't see a lot of boundary line hoops being made. You definitely didn't see a lot of super angled hoops, jump shots like that one Levi made at 6. So, the whole strategy of how you played there had to change to revolve around, better positioning, getting close to the hoop. Like red would be something you'd want over in Chesapeake, but I wouldn't even want yellow. Just another narrow miss. So yellow will have the opportunity to run this slightly longer shot. We can see here it's a little angle, but it's not anything too testing. But this will only be the second sort of long hoop attempt, not long, but this will only be the second hoop attempt that Fozzy's really had. He made hoop 5 off of being placed almost. He only put it in the jaws and then was only popped back out a few inches. He missed that attempt at hoop 3 from an extreme angle. So we'll see what his swing does here. And decides to take pace off of that. Runs that with the idea of control. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. I don't think that's, from what I've seen of him, his most comfortable swing. Most of his hoop shots, like most Egyptians, is a much harder pace, looking just to get it down there and then to defend the hoop with a clearance. Feeling some pressure of the score, maybe. 5-1 down, and first real opportunity to get some momentum on your side that you've been given. A good hoop attempt, but so now may not pay for it because he didn't go very far. And again, Levi will still have several longer clearances from these. It's 7 yards from the hoop to the side boundary and the back boundary. By the time you get to the corner, just the way angles work, it's getting closer. I'd forget the exact fraction, but it's getting closer to 9 yards. if it's right in front of the hoop. And obviously Black a little south of the hoop there. That's a great shot. That's a really good shot. Would have liked not to roll behind the hoop there, but Blue stayed much closer than you'd normally expect to with that amount of power. Greg, thank you so much for the kind words. Yes, Levi is playing amazing, so he wants this. I could tell after. I could tell after that match he played yesterday against Jack, just sort of walking by and giving him congratulations, that it took a lot out of him. He gave it everything he had, and I think he's coming into today not wanting to waste that hard work and opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see again, sort of the mental aspect of this game and the endurance aspect. Both players, when they're playing their best, I would say hit at extremely high rates. It might be the difference between 80% and 81%. I think positional play has been the thing that's made most of the difference in these last few matches. Everyone here can hit like an absolute demon, but with power. But like that, oh my goodness, cuts it perfectly and takes the back boundary. It's just relentless. I mean, jeez. Everyone can do that. Everyone here can do that with a fair amount of consistency. But we've seen a lot of positional errors and over the last few days, and the people who've been winning are the ones who've been positioning better. So not the ones who have been, maybe they hit that 1 more percent, or maybe they get the cut they want instead of, the other side of it like that. But then they end up maybe, giving the hoop away a few shots later because they don't get a ball in front. Like, that's an amazing shot. I think that based on the clapping I just heard, that might be blocking the hoop from Black. So this is now a tough situation. Blue can't clear red anywhere super useful. In fact, if you clear it too close to Black, he's just going to maybe lag in a little cuddle block. But it's going to be difficult for Levi to get this position back because of that amazing set with Yellow. If Yellow had been short or long and not really threatening this hoop, I'd be favoring Levi for this hoop a lot more and just letting Red take that boundary line hoop shot. Oh, good cut. All right, so. What about Soha Mustafa says? What about Jana's games? We're still waiting on a report back. Unfortunately, I can't see out of this tent, so we have to rely on sort of a messenger, who they're busy watching the action, so they will be. He is going for the cuddle block from a longer distance, and he just goes past it. Now, this does take some pressure off of Levi. We know that Levi is more than happy to take on a boundary line hoop, and Red is not threatening the hoop very well, much better than Black or Blue is. I'm expecting, this is blocked, I'm expecting to see a clearance and then a boundary line hoop shot with Blue. If he jumps here, we can mark that up to youthful exuberance. He's jumping. All right, so youthful exuberance it is. I just think you don't have to. I think if you can bet on yourself to make the boundary jump shot, I think you can bet on yourself to clear this and then make the easier boundary like flat hoop shot with Blue. So my 2 cents, but Levi's in the final. I'm not. So I'm old. So. Well, second prize, and honestly quite lucky to get that. You saw that struck Yellow on the left-hand edge. That was not hoop bound, I don't think. Levi is one of those players that can get an incredible amount of airtime. I think just with the way he sort of, his swing, if you watch it, he kind of almost extends downward through the ball anyway when he's got sort of a lot of extension and a lot of almost push. He's smooth, but there's some motion in there that's kind of pushy, quote unquote. And I think it really helps him with jump shots because he just sort of accelerates down at that ball really well. And I've watched, even when we were a couple days for this tournament, me, him, and Jack and Sam Cuthbert were on the court, and we were practicing jump shots from the boundary at Hoop 5, just seeing who could do it. The other three of us were struggling to get the air time and to do it, and Levi was dang near going over the hoop. So just the air, he just there's something about his style that very much lends itself to generating that sort of airtime accurately. So, but one of the few players at this tournament that I wouldn't want to give a 7-yard jump shot to, but I still think that this is the better play. Yellow, I assume, did not block this hoop based on how big of a swing he's taking, and this will be a hoop shot. Black is nowhere nearby, so it's hoop or nothing. A little bit off the left wire there, so he'll be considering that a wasted opportunity, but he wasn't in the best position. Black makes one good clearance here, and this is still up for grabs, but definitely Fozzy's favorite right now to run this hoop. That's a good ball with red. And Fozzy, 5-1 is one of those scores where you really, really, really need to take control of these long hoops well enough to get to the even-numbered hoop. You need to get to 5-3, and even with that, you're going to be allowing Levi to take first position at hoop 9, so it's a little bit under the gun here. But that is not the gambit. So he would like to get to hoop 9 first, so maybe he can play some promotional shot from the jaws, but I doubt it. The opportunity might arise.
Just send me the score. Oh, just text, just by color.
Big clearance. Looks like it has a chance, and he got it. Nicked the left edge of it, which was the preferable edge. Puts himself over to the corner. Yellow's no longer in good hoop running position. Blue from before bounced sideways off the hoop and is probably over about level with the hoop on the west boundary. So Levi was in this position a little earlier with both of Fozzy's balls in front and both of his balls towards that corner area. So he cleared his way out of it the first time and gave himself some long hoop shots. Let's see if he can do it again. Black theoretically is in hoop running position, not a hoop running position you'd want, and especially off this back line here, these 3 courts, there's that ridge line there. He has blocked Black's clearance. Well, he was trying to block him on the hoop, but so blue is obviously very open on red. So blue takes red here. Center ball or left half is what he would prefer. And then if blue stays around, black might clear yellow. If blue is not within reasonable distance, we're going to see a hoop shot from Levi's position with black. Well, that stayed around. That's as good of a shot as you can hit. I mean, my God. So it's annoying, folks, when you play against it. Trust me. So, as you can see, we now have the bowl score up on the board. Sorry that it had to go away for a little while, but as we can see, Jana Syed is up 6-2 in her first game against Jessica Bullen. So currently Jana in full control, master of her own destiny. We've seen the Shield scoreboard for a little bit, but we've yet to comment on it, which is Sam Cuthbert is up 4-2 against Ethan Gumbrell. Still anybody's game there, and obviously it's only game 1, but starting to sway in Sam's favor. And here we see the lineup for the hoop shot. So, a little bit off the left-hand wire on the last one. This one's much more angled. Way less margin for error here. Can he connect? Not as angled as that jump shot he did at 6, but and just pushed that one out a little bit. So the last one missed left. That one missed left. I've noticed a couple of his clearances have missed left already. So, again, we've talked on this live stream a couple of times about most players have a miss range. Most players have a tendency to miss on one side over the other just due to whatever the particular mechanics and idiosyncrasies of their swing are. I, as a standard grip player who's right-handed, tend to miss left, and I find that most standard grip players who are right-handed tend to do the same, except if you're Richard Bilton. But Richard may have to be under government experimentation to see why that's happening. But uh, most players, especially at the lower level, don't really think about it enough and don't really. That's an interesting choice. So red might be hampered to get down to the next hoop, and yellow's obviously not in as good position. I'm not a fan of the way Levi's hitting of giving him another shot at clearing something, especially when I'm not able to stay nearby. So Levi here should be thinking, oh my goodness, what an opportunity. I just have to hit one good 20-yarder, you know. So and he's hit plenty of long clearances so far. Now he is coming off that back boundary and kind of parallel to it, so that is tricky. But you just gotta hit one. So, but yeah, every player has a miss range, unless you're just doing random things every time in your swing. So if you've started to get anything akin to a consistent swing and a consistent stance and form, you're going to have tendencies where you miss. And it's important to identify what those tendencies are and start to identify the reasons why you miss there. Because when you get in an event and you don't have enough time to really narrow miss. So Fozzy here, his tactics have won him control of this hoop. He'll be looking to run this with control again. I think we're going to see this with that medium pace he attempted before from a much easier position. And he'll be hoping not to catch too much wire on his way down, I think, because it's crunch time for him. He really needs to start stringing these hoops together. So he'll be feeling a lot of pressure to take control of hoop 8. But yeah, learn your miss range. There's our tournament director, manager, whatever, depending on your country of origin, that we Jeff Sue in the background there. He's gotten loose from his containment pod and he's outside the fence. We're gonna have to call in the SWAT team here. So yeah, there he is. He's roaming. If he hits the tree line, we'll never find him. But all right, so you see there a little bit of frustration and disappointment from Fozzy because he did not run that hoop nearly as long as he wanted to. So now he is not in great shape to defend hoop 8, not nearly as much as he wanted, but he'll have to just start making some longer clearances, so which he's perfectly capable of. Felix says, interesting how Fozzy's tactics have changed since he's so far behind. Yeah, so it is interesting. We haven't seen that yet. In just about every game Fozzy's played, the majority of the game, either he's been ahead or the game has been close until sort of the end when he pulls ahead. He might have had I'm trying to a little bit overran. That's not the worst place in the world, just because again, if yellow sets, you can clear it back. Red still has to clear that black ball, but you would have liked that to be putting a little more pressure on the hoop by being in a running position. Playing with his hands higher up on the mallet as well. I haven't noticed that, Felix, but I'll keep an eye out for it. So it'd be interesting. I'd have to go back and look at the previous day's footage against him and Blake to really see it. So. Yeah, I think this is one of the first times we've seen a game sort of in the middle of the game where the score has been this lopsided against Fozzy and put this pressure on him. So it'll be interesting to see as we go through the rest of this match how he deals with this and how this sets the tone. So blue just making sure it gets in position and does not block black on yellow. Doesn't get maybe as good of a hoop shot as he would have liked from that position he started in, but it looks to be about a 2.5 yarder. And red here, I think, will be taking on. Red here might be taking on blue. This I don't even know if it can see black past blue. He was going for hoop, unless he just really, really pulled that one against blue. That looked like a hoop shot. So aggressive. So. With yellow where it is and black sort of, in that direction towards the corner, you could think that a lot of clearances on blue there put it into a position where Levi would have a potentially hampered 10-plus yarder or 12 yarder. So a little interesting there that he just went for broke. Maybe he's just, he hasn't hit a lot of hit a long shot so far. Maybe he just wanted to sort of work the swing out. Ooh, that's a good shot. That's a really good shot all the way up towards corner 3. That's about level with the hoop up there, and black stays a little bit south of the peg, actually. So Levi definitely in full control here of this first game. We expect the score to be 6-2 here presently. Uh, Fozzy's going to have to hit an amazing cross-court clearance to save this one. Blues in good running position. Uh, and Levi must be feeling pretty confident right now. And again, this is what we saw. I will say this, though. This is what we saw against Jack Good, where Levi came out of the gate playing out of his mind. First and second game, I thought Levi's going to win in 3 straight. There's just nothing Jack can do to stop him right now. As good as Jack was playing, there's just nothing he can do. And then we saw in Game 3 and even a little bit in Game 4, we saw sort of the human side of Levi come out, and he started missing 7-yarders and making errors. And how long can Levi ride out this sort of this impressive sort of hitting streak and this great control he's had now? Like, can he sustain this for 3 whole games in a row? Is this going to go much longer? Is it going to falter even after this game? It's going to be, I think, a question of that's a beautiful hoop. It's going to be a question of endurance. And I will say, and this is nothing against Levi, but like when I did play him the first time, and he got up 5-1 on me, sort of in a similar position to this now. As soon as I started hitting well, because I did not start that game hitting well. As soon as I started hitting well, he started hitting worse. And it kind of flipped where he went from not being able to miss to not being able to hit, and I went from not being able to hit to not being able to miss. And so I sometimes wonder if there's a bit of a reactionary tendency there, so that if he somewhat is subconsciously responding to his opponents. So like as soon as he starts getting challenged a little bit more, I think it might throw him just a little bit out of his comfort zone. Again, I can't say that with 100% certainty. When we played at the Open Shaw, he started the first game again, almost unable to miss, and it took me the next 2 games to sort of get going. But he definitely didn't finish the third game. That's an amazing shot. He definitely didn't play nearly as well in the third game as he had played in the first and even the second. So I just wonder the stamina or just the mental sort of staying in that zone when he starts to get challenged, because Fozzy will challenge him. Fozzy obviously has not gotten a lot of opportunities here to challenge him, but that's just not good enough. That's nowhere near hoop running, not jawsable. Open on black from the side boundary. So Red may very well be feeling the pressure to take on a hoop shot from the boundary there if it's unblocked. So, yeah, but Fozzy's going to challenge him. Fozzy's going to, if he plays anywhere close to what he played against Blake yesterday, this is going to be an extremely, extremely mentally taxing match for both players. And I think Fozzy is of the two better equipped to handle the pressure and the stress. Playing at such a high level as he has in Egypt, winning the Egyptian Open, being in a final of an under-21 Worlds before and recently. I just think that the moment is not going to affect him as much. Like you see there with Levi, an unforced error of leaving blue so short. Taking all the pressure off of that hoop shot for Fozzy, and he's disappointed that he didn't hit a good swing, and you see him there sort of looking at his line. He hit outside of right wire. So, he's just still looking for his rhythm. He hasn't had to take a lot of big swings yet. He hasn't. And that's the thing. There will come a point where he's going to get his swings in. Right now, we saw it hoop 7 and everything. Levi got to take a lot of 7 to 9 yarders, and hit a lot of them. So Levi's got to work his swing in a little bit more, I think, this match so far than Fozzy has. So there will come moments, maybe even at the end before the end of this game, where Fozzy gets to sort of get those swings in and grooves himself in a little bit more, and it'll be interesting to see how that changes how things go the distance. So I am working on finding a companion for me here to do some talking with me. So if you're getting tired of the sound of my voice, trust me, I am trying. But everybody's sort of glued to the action. I don't know if at some point maybe while we're after this, if he hits and we're waiting on Levi to walk over. Yeah. Is there any chance we could pan the camera around to the crowd, Russ?
To what?
To the crowd and just show the audience?
I'm trying to update.
Yeah, so maybe in a second here when there's no like super tense action,
Let me do this. I'll get it.
we'll be able to show that there's a very large tent with a.
John, can you pan left and show the canopy and the crowd?
Yeah, Levi's just taking some time to look at some things, so we're not in an immediate fear. Yeah, a little bit more, a little bit more.
There you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
So you can see some of the competitors here. You can see a lot of locals, a lot of club members from Sarasota County, and there's even you can't even see there's a tent behind them where a lot of people are taking refuge in the shade. So in that tent, there's probably another 30 to 40 people present, and there's many more spectators around that sort of left hook of the L, watching some of the plate matches and different things going on. So beautiful weather here today. A lot of people coming out in support,
Come back, John.
and we will resume here just in time to see Levi lagging a shot. And this is a critical shot. One of the longer clearances he's attempted so far. He had that longer one coming down from hoop 3, but must hit black here, and even that there'll still be some work to do.
We got John on the target. There you go.
So see how this very steady and slow routine. Narrow miss, fraction of an inch on the left-hand side of that ball. It looked like, but June, I like for those of you who are thinking about ways to improve your form, go back and watch that close-up we had of Fozzy swinging when you have an opportunity, and just look at how slow, even though he generates a lot of power, how slow he draws the mallet back, how methodical he is in his pre-shot routine, how little motion there is in his upper body as he hits, and you saw the results there. Now, a lot of people, that's a beautiful little jump shot to win Game 1 7-2 for Levi Franks of New Zealand. So Levi setting a statement out here in Game 1. Nigh perfect performance. Did not miss very much. Missed it, had a few at hoop 7 when he got in that protracted battle.
Karen doesn't have a headset on.
But absolutely amazing performance there in Game 1. So can he keep it up? But Fozzy's definitely starting to groove his swing in. You saw that. That was an amazing swing Fozzy made. He only missed that ball by, I think, less than an inch in front of hoop 9 from the west boundary. So, that's a 20-plus yarder right there. We're going to start seeing, I think, Fozzy's going to be the first to hoop 1 this game. So he has an opportunity right off the bat to test Levi. And there you can see just the national flags of the two competitors, the Egyptian flag on the left, New Zealand flag on the right. I think most of you could have deduced that. But so, and we'll just see. This might be a long match. I kind of thinking it's going to go to 5 games, especially now that Levi has won the first in sort of resounding fashion. I just think that we haven't seen Fozzy hit the full pace yet, and once he gets going, it's going to be tough. But so there's David Malouf, who we've seen a couple of times on this live stream, who I've talked about checking hoops. So with the sherbet orange Hokas. So all right, so. So we have our 2025 sponsors here, and we've given them several shout-outs, but we just want to remind everyone who may not have been here with us that this event is brought to you in part by Diesel Mallets from Tate Russick, Florida native and a member of the Sarasota County Croquet Club, who has been experimenting with 3D printing high-quality mallets for tournament play. I know Sharif Abdul-Wahab is currently the proud owner of one and then speaks highly of it. So check out Diesel Mallets and at the email address right there. And then we have Oakley Woods Croquet, the consistent and constant sponsor of USCA events, this YouTube channel, and WCF events in this country and around the world with his high-quality wooden mallets from Canada. He has his new Aero mallet with the aerodynamic holes in the sides to reduce wind drag so that casters such as myself might be able to swing on those windier days like we had here over the last week in Sarasota. And much along the same design of aerodynamicy, we have PFC croquet mallets from Peter Coles in Australia, whose national representative is Vicky Johnston, who is another sponsor of this event. High-quality metal mallets that will last you a lifetime. I've had faceplates fall off from epoxy and things like that, and you don't have to worry about those with a Hoopmaker mallet. So thank you to Peter Coles once again, a constant sponsor of WCF events around the world. And next we have Michael Saunders and Company, licensed real estate brokers, with Hans and Rebecca Peterson as the representative realtors. Hans Peterson is, of course, the president of the Sarasota County Croquet Club, and he's dedicated not only to the support of this club, but the wider world of croquet, and helps new and old croquet players find high-quality real estate around here in the Sarasota County area. So thank you for their support. And finally, we mentioned Vicky Johnston was another sponsor of this event. She and her company, White Tie Croquet, have a tent here at the moment. She sells high-quality white apparel of all sorts for all sizes with your custom logo printed on it for your club or a special event that you want to have. So check her out at that website, whitetieCroquet.com, or stop by the tent if you happen to be in the area and walk out in style. So thank you to all 5 of them for their support of this event. I think this is the most sponsors we've ever seen at a single WCF event. 3 mallet makers and 2 non-mallet manufacturer companies. So very happy to see the support for these young people. Everybody wants to encourage the youth of tomorrow and the world champions of next year. So we're just doing a quick between-game hoop check, making sure that you can see them out there with the level, making sure that they are straight, firm, checking them with the black ball to make sure that they're still holding their tightness. So, like I've said before, and we've had questions about it in the chat, lots of abuse on these hoops in this soft soil. There goes Michael Albert, Baywatch. So, but yes, so Michael Albert and Karen Albert have sponsored this event as well, and Michael Albert has worked alongside me to help develop a lot of the youth programming and support in the USCA and elsewhere. But so can't thank Michael Albert enough for what he's doing, and Karen for their continued support to the USCA and to the youth and under 21 croquet players in the collegiate programs around the country. So just thank you all to everyone. And obviously want to thank the Sarasota County Croquet Club once again for allowing us the use of their 7 beautiful lawns. This croquet club has over 250 croquet members last time I checked. It is a municipal club. People from all around, including residents from other counties, belong to this club and travel quite a distance to play here at their events and organized court time. So more than 250 members have given up they're all 7 of their courts for a full week here, which is a big ask. And they have been more than gracious to do it for us. And so we want to thank them and all the volunteer hours. Some of them haven't just given up their courts. Some of them have been here every day, refereeing, setting hoops, preparing food. We want to thank Ellen Goldner for the work she's done, sort of spearheading the catering for this event. Ellen and John have ran this club before. John was a past president. And they're always committed to the support of croquet at all levels. So, and we'd also like to thank City of Venice, and I'm sorry, my throat for some reason. And oh, that is unlucky. My God, sorry, I have to stop the thank yous for 1 second to acknowledge that. That was an amazing shot. That is one of the unluckiest outcomes I have seen. Sam Cuthbert center balls that combo clearance so well that blue actually stays in 1.5 foot position straight on to give up hoop 1 in game 2 to Ethan, who will be a little disappointed not to have run that hoop a little bit further. But where was I? Yes, so we'd like to thank the USCA for their continued support of croquet, fostering it here across the country through sanctioning events, organizing tournaments, and just supportive players such as myself on the national team and everything through programs such as the Lee Olson Fund. And we'd like to thank the WCF for all the great work they do organizing events across the world and helping bring us events such as these and bringing all of us from different cultures and different countries together to be able to compete in good fellowship. So, and there's obviously more names to thank. More than I don't have any sheets in front of me. This is all just from my mind and my heart. So I do apologize if I need a drink, man. I need to crack a Diet Coke here pretty soon. I'm getting dry. So, if anybody here has felt I've left a name out, I do apologize. I do thank everybody. And we all thank them that have made this possible. Let's not forget Russ Dilly here behind me, who has been tirelessly running this live stream for the entire week, staring at these admittedly very small screens and a lot of little counters. And then the two cameramen who've been bringing you all the action, John Graney and Brian Hovis, whose faces you may not have seen, but you've seen their work each day. So it's a very coordinated effort here. Hundreds of people have been responsible for bringing this event to us, and obviously we want to thank the players for putting on such an amazing show for all of us here on the live stream. So it's just wonderful to see. We went back and we watched last night. I was staying with the Fields, and we went back and we watched Blake's first under-21 World Championship performance when he was 12 years old at the Nottingham Club, and we're lucky that those matches are filmed and that we had people there present. But it is amazing. That was 2019. It is amazing to see from then to now sort of the advances that we've made and the ability to bring this to you guys and to do multiple camera work and to keep these scoreboards up and just the quality is increasing every year, not only here in the USA but across the world. So it's very exciting what the future holds, and the future is here right in front of us with these young people. These they will have long careers in croquet. Most of these players are younger now than I was when I started, and most of them will have 30 or 40 years playing their top level form. So really exciting to see what's going to happen. So, but we have, while we're waiting for the main final to get their hoops reset, we have come over here to the Shield final. Early in Game 2, we've seen a little bit while I was going through that list. We saw that unlucky clearance from Sam at Hoop 1. Sam did win the first game. Oh, and you see the wind there. So you can see the flags blowing. You can see the shirts ruffling, and you can see all those trees, palms in the background. The wind is picking up here a little bit. So for a large caster, sort of a slower speed caster like Sam, it's going to cause some effects on the mallet. And so Damon Bidencope's in the chat. Tom Wells said, thank you, the SEC has been terrific. And shout out to Damon Bidencope, the president of the USCA. Some of you who may have caught the Fox 13 local news about this event may have seen Damon's face on the podium, but Damon Bidencope, our fearless leader, who has obviously been instrumental in the organization of this event and putting this on and the support of the USCA. So thank you, Damon, for all the work that you do, and it's just been wonderful. Just has been wonderful. Addison says, question for you, Tom. Where has been your favorite place to play in the world so far? I'll separate it into different categories. So I've already said that early in the live stream that I fell in love with South Africa when I went there right after the Open Shaw just to do the Rainbow International. And I just fell in love with the area, with the beauty of the country, with the people and the food and everything. It was just one of the best trips I've ever taken. I would recommend. I'm trying to get all the Americans to go. I think we all need to, even if we have to have them schedule an event just for us at a good time of year, we need to go. I think everybody should descend upon South Africa during the winter months and enjoy what they have to offer. So that would be my favorite sort of location. My favorite in terms of courts, That's a tough one. I really have to think about that.
So Sam scored.
Yeah, that's. I'll circle back to that one, maybe Addison. That's going to take me a minute of thinking. Um, I haven't, and I just haven't. I haven't played in everywhere yet. So I haven't played in Egypt. I haven't played in New Zealand. So I know I've heard such great things. So I'm reserving judgment to a certain degree. But I would say I will say though I loved Roehampton. I got to play on the back court, sort of the secret garden court at Roehampton when we were at the 2023 AC Worlds. And if you know, Hank Williams Jr. said, if heaven ain't a lot like Dixie, I don't want to go. Well, if heaven ain't a lot like the back court at Roehampton, I don't want to go either. So that was a very beautiful court to play on, lightning fast, you know, tabletop smooth, and helps that I probably had my best day of croquet ever on that court. But so yeah, that was a big one. That's high up there on the list. But it's really a tough spot. So here we are, back at the final. First hoop attempt after some missed clearances in a row from Levi. Fozzy here will be taking on this little less 1.5 yarder, slightly angled. And that's what we've been waiting for. That's what you expect. Oh, he might get both. Oh, right around it. But and again, not taking any pace off of that one. Plenty of power to get that to the north boundary. So running that with nice confidence. So first, first lead Fozzy's had in this match here in game 2. He started behind and stayed behind in that first game. So Levi just pressed on the gas. So can Levi take this hoop too and then maybe flip things around? So, but and we're going to see Fozzy, I think, warm up very quickly. I think Levi will be thinking that he really needs to close this match out as quickly as possible because I think the endurance test favors Fozzy. I think he's more consistent. I think Levi, as we saw in game 1, maybe has slightly higher highs. He's going to go through periods where he's doing sort of those incredible things, that jump shot at 6, clearing everything that he's looking at, and I think that Fozzy, though, is just going to be the steadier player. When Levi goes through those periods where he's not hitting everything, Fozzy's going to continue to play really strong and really consistently. And so those are going to be – and so how – interesting little last-minute change of decision. Doesn't block the hoop. I'd be surprised if Levi doesn't take this hoop on. Blue may be in his stance just enough that it's not super comfortable. Blue's slightly longer, but slightly straighter on the hoop. Yeah, so he's going to be taking this stop shot. Honestly, if he stops this really well, I would be looking to maybe flick off the left half of this. Yeah, like that. Ooh, it hit hoop 6, which is not the end of the world. It didn't stick to hoop 6, but he didn't get as far over there as he wanted. So Levi there was probably thinking in different words than what I've used, but probably thinking of the idea that hoop 2 does not matter. Hoop 3 is one of the most critical hoops in the entire game because hoop 3, run well, get you control of hoop 4. Hoop 4 to hoop 5 is a very short turnaround, and obviously 5 and 6 are the two closest odd and even numbered hoops in an alley. So we've seen a lot of matches this game be determined by that sort of, and a lot of like long runs be made from hoops 3 to 6 or 7. So little bit left to target. But if you make hoop 2 and give up first ball to hoop 3, and you're not able to defend it properly, you could, even though you're 1-1 after hoop 2, you could be staring down the barrel of being 3-1 down, 4-1 down fairly quickly. So there's something to be said for trying to get a ball, being a little extra aggressive, trying to get a ball over to hoop 3, just in that vicinity so that you can make that first clearance from a much shorter distance. So Levi here will be taking hoop on. Looks to be maybe a 4-yarder. Black is in legal position somewhere It may honestly still be on sides because it hit hoop 6, but it's maybe just past hoop 6 if it ricocheted off. I saw it bounce north. And that's a beautiful hoop. So if Levi can continue to run hoops with that level of confidence, it's going to be a long match. Rosario Garcia, good afternoon from Sevilla, Spain. Oh, and thank you. Thank you for the compliment. So glad you guys like it. So thanks for tuning in, guys. What time is it in Spain, by the way? So he just bounced past hoop 6. Good shot. Black takes side boundary position, red towards the corner. And this is what you need to do. You absolutely need to challenge hoop 3 for the reasons we talked about earlier. The idea that hoop 2 doesn't matter that's been put forward. Kyle Maloof was the person who told it to me, and I think he might have been the originator, so I'll give him the credit for that. But if someone else out there came up with it first, well, I'm revising history, and that's just how it goes. But so if you make hoop 2 and you're 1-1, and then you lose hoop 3 and 4, and now you're down 3-1 going into hoop 5. If you lose hoop 2, like in that position, and you're down 2-0, you get to be the first ball to hoop 3, and then you can level the game 2-2 fairly consistently if you win hoop 3. So I've probably, just in personal experience, completely anecdotal, I would say that in the times where I've been 2-0 up and given up the first ball to hoop 3, I've probably ended up in a 2-2 position going to hoop 5 more often than when I give up hoop 2, 1-1, and then I get to be first to hoop 3. I end up 3-1 up most of the time. I don't have actual numbers to put to that, and I won't make any up just for the sake of it. But just anecdotally in my head, just from my own games, I can say that that's probably been the case. That's a really good clearance. Didn't need to stay. Didn't need wanted obviously a little bit more center of that just to keep red around, but Black's now looking down the barrel of a long clearance, and you don't need your ball to stay around. Black's going to have to clear this. Yellow's already past the hoop. It's unlikely to stay super close unless Levi absolutely centers it. He has a couple of these, but at this length, you're not expecting it. So Yellow will be the first ball back to the hoop. And Blue has been driven to the south boundary, very far away. So Red will have a chance to come back in before any hoop shots are taken here. So just looking to get that blue ball well out of the way and force this clearance. So. Man, but he does hit him in the center. Now and you notice that little hop there. So that's at the speed he hit that. That's he hit a little snag somewhere on the court. There's just some little bumps here and there. And when he hits that yellow ball, his ball is fractionally above the ground. You could probably, if you slow-moed it and zoomed in, you'd see a little sliver of air. So because these are two spheres of identical sizes, when one of them is slightly higher up than the other, it's going to ramp over the other one. So you just see that little hop. Now, if he had hit that much harder, you would have seen a much bigger, pronounced bounce. And the problem with that is when you have that, it's the same sort of effect as hitting a half ball or a glancing blow on the left or the right. You're not getting full center ball energy transference. Some of the energy of your ball is maintained. Ooh, that's short. That's short. That's not good. Need that. I mean, Yellow was probably going to hit blue anyway because Black can only send it back towards the corner. But I'm surprised he wouldn't just go deep there off the boundary. He's not afraid of hitting boundary length hoop shots. And you know that you can't really do much with Yellow. And Black's going to stay in the corner area anyway. Why would you not just go really deep there, clear Yellow, and just say, yeah, you got to block me, otherwise I'm shooting this hoop. So a little bit surprised by that, by trying to pace that out the way he did. And that may cost him. But all right, so it is 4:25 in Madrid on Holy Friday. So Alex says, well, maybe if he continues to run hoops like that, it'll be quite a short match. May not seem like that to Fozzy. That's a really good shot. wow, almost held position off that. I just think that, again, we haven't really seen Fozzy hit his full stride yet. It's coming. I'd have no doubt. But Levi did this against Jack. He came out really hot out of the gate, and I've said it a couple times already. It's just a matter of how long can he sustain it. If he can keep this up at this rate, then yeah, it might be a very short match because he may just overwhelm Fozzy before he really has a chance to get comfortable and get a lot of those important swings in. But if Levi lets his foot off the gas for even a second, I have a strong suspicion that this match will go a long time, and Fozzy will remind him who's better in the endurance competition. That's a good angle to see the swing. He cuts it a little bit to the left there. Now, there's a choice. He's taken on one angled hoop before at this same hoop from the other side last game, rejected. I think this is a little less angled, but it's a little further. And as you can see there, it is a pretty steep angle. It's a good view. His feet are pointed a little bit this side of the hoop. That's normally where he lines up. Oh, that was a very accurate shot. You saw that just hit right in the middle of the uprights. Whenever you see the ball pop back towards you, that's normally a sign that you hit about as much in the middle of the hoop as you could. You may have hit slightly heavy into the far wire if you're coming in at an angle because it just didn't have any angular deflection. It just came straight back. And then the spin pops it back towards the side. So, but yeah, hitting it at that pace and just watching it bounce back that little, you're hitting that very, very near the middle of the hoop. So, big clearance here. Can't leave blue there for red. And blue does technically run, so no point in clearing black, really, when red is all over it. So you're going to look for half ball left here on blue to push it down the court and stay on the east boundary. Perfect. That's exactly what he wanted. All the way down to corner 4. My God. And those are the types of shots that Fozzy has just been exceptional at. Not just doing those really power clearances from, that was what? That was 5 yards. 5-yard cut clearances with power, hitting the exact side of the ball that he wants, and that's the kind of shots that have really put a lot of his opponents on the back foot. He just does those so consistently. But that's interesting. He might have just been going back boundary there just as a defensive measure. With how close he ran past that hoop, I almost wonder if he was maybe trying to nick or push black in some way just to get it out of the way of red so it can't stop there if it hits it. So I might just be reaching there, but he was in the corner. I think it would have been visible. So he definitely played that pretty close. Fozzy's not going to love the outcome of that shot. You really want to stay close to the hoop. You've just given blue now such a easier clearance towards corner 1. If black lays up in good position, then yellow's really going to need to hit this. And also, you just haven't really stayed threatening the hoop. This is going to allow blue, if it needs to take a more aggressive hoop shot without too much pressure. And again, we know Levi has absolutely no qualms about doing that. That's really good touch right there. That's the positional play. It's going to make a big difference. So, blue might be blocked on the hoop with black, but black still has to be moved because red's right there and will not be there in a minute. So we see Fozzy here lining up this clearance. He'd rather Levi be shooting from the boundary than from 2 yards or 1 yard dead in front. And that's a great shot. That's an amazing shot. You see again that ball just hop up a little bit. So unfortunately, even though he hit that roughly in the middle, slightly right of center, just by the direction it went, it goes a lot further than it should. So perfectly flat conditions, if you hit a 3/4 ball or middle of the ball, even if you hit it really hard, the majority of the energy will be absorbed by the other ball. It's kind of like a Newton's cradle, like that those people used to have on their desks. If you don't know what that is, if you're young, look that up. So But when the ball is, again, slightly into the air, it retains some of its energy, and instead of going from left to right, it goes up and down. So big hoop shot here. Take hoop 3. No real pressure, but he'll at least need to hit the hoop and stay relevant. Oh, or just make the hoop with pace. That's just, I wish I could do that. If I make boundary line hoops, they either squeak through a yard or they go off the south boundary. Very rarely do they just go next to the hoop. So, anyway, that's a huge hoop because Levi also won hoop 2. So to take hoop 2 and hoop 3 with good control now of hoop 4, because look at that blue ball. That's going to be if he can lay black in good position, blue's all over red. There's not much yellow can do about it. So that's potentially huge. Black needs to be in good position. That might be short. That's short. That's a critical error right there. And again, we've said it before. Edmund Fordyce was in the chat with me the other day, and it was maybe he was a little bit harsher on it than I was, but I agree with him, which is like there's just no room for those positional errors. It's an unforced error. It completely lets Fozzy back into the fight for this hoop. You just can't afford stuff like that. I know he's a long way away, but if you're worried about the exact pace, just go deep, kind of near where red is, and give yourself a 4 or 5 yarder. Just be in front of the hoop. There's no threat now. There's absolutely no threat. Now, it looks like Levi is going to just let Fozzy take this shot. He's going to probably go left half of this and maybe try to slide in front of the hoop, either to pressure or to block it. There's no point in, overcut it. Could have hit a little softer and it would have worked the same, but wanted to make sure he got yellow all the way off the lawn. And now, 5-yard attempt, 4-yard attempt from Fozzy straight on. Hasn't really connected with any of these longer ones yet, but you don't want to give these up when you've been sort of closing your opponent out. This is the kind of shot that if he makes this shifts the momentum. And he makes it effortlessly. And that's what we've been waiting for. So now instead of being 3-1 up, potentially, you've given it up 2-2. You've let your opponent now have a really good, confident building swing and get his first sort of longer, good hoop shot off. And you now have to hope he misses again at hoop 5. So, that black not getting set there was the difference between Levi winning that hoop potentially and losing it. And even if, he sets and he clears and then, he gets cleared back, you're still in the fight for the hoop. There's still more hoop to be played, but that was just it was a giveaway. So Levi can't afford to be doing stuff like that. That, by the same token, you can't have to get in front of this hoop. Now, even if you clear black with red, what do you get for it? Blue is under absolutely no obligation to clear this. I have no idea. Is he going to clear? No, he's just setting up. He might be going for a blocking position. And he got it, I think. That's an amazing shot. So, really good hit from Levi. So, a really horrible set followed by a really good set from the New Zealander. And Fozzy here will have to take on the hoop if he can see it. These are those shots that you really don't want your opponent taking. They always seem to make them. Just between the two. So Levi will breathe a sigh of relief, and he will get the short 1 yard or less attempt here. Hopefully he hasn't put blue in a position to drastically hamper his stance. We said a little bit yesterday, obviously at this level you should be able to swing from an unhampered stance, but when you're dealing with a hoop shot especially, you can see he has to stagger a little bit. When you already have a swing with some eccentricities and you have your form, having a altered stance, it's not really a matter of you can't swing well, it's a matter of you can't swing your best. And he obviously made a very good swing there, but when you're dealing with hoops, that are challenging. We're dealing with very precise clearances that you need to be done. You just want to be as comfortable as you can be because it can make the difference between being a half an inch off and missing the hoop or being straight through it. So your stance is very important. One of my favorite Yogi Bearisms that I say to all my students is a good stance is 90% of a good swing, and looking at the back of the ball is the other 90%. So it's just incredibly important to have as unhampered of a stance as possible when taking those critical shots. So he clearly felt comfortable enough with it that he wasn't going to turn around and clear yellow. And that is the right idea. You don't want to give Fozzy another shot, and Blue's hoop shot is not as good. But he was looking there to see if black can see yellow. It must be close, but he has elected to lag in. So that means either he can see it with black or he believes that he'll be capable, that yellow won't take on the hoop. He can put it in a position to sort of maybe be hampering it by curving it around the hoop. And he's just gonna bank on a couple of clearances. So. I've gotten a text a few minutes ago I just saw from Blake Fields who says he will be over presently to do some commentary with me. So we will be joined, hopefully in short order. And that's a good shot. I don't know how much of that ball he could see. He did have to clear that hoop by just a little bit. I assume he thought he could see more than that. Hasn't sent yellow that far away. This will be about a 10-yarder. A little less, actually. So for Fozzy. Red is not in the best position, but it's runnable. He would have obviously liked to be maybe another yard more to the right, kind of behind the peg from our perspective, before he would really get what I would consider, a truly comfortable hoop shot. But good clearance here. Yep, very good. So yellow doesn't stay super relevant. Doesn't need to. If blue clears, obviously red will be the first ball back to the hoop. But yes, so Blake Fields will be joining us presently to do some commentary, hopefully, if he doesn't get lost along the way. All right, so angled hoop attempt here, probably a 2-yarder, maybe a touch more. It's hard to tell from this angle, but I can see on the other angle it was fairly far back. And that's a hoop. Good shot. So it is now 3-3 between Levi and Fozzy. So, and again, going back to this, what might the score be right now if black had gotten set for Levi at hoop 4? He was up 3-1, right? Obviously, yes, Fozzy would have advantage at 5 and could easily have won 5 and 6, and we'd still be at hoop 3, still be at 3-3. But, Levi would be thinking that if he can just make one good clearance at hoop 5, that he might be able to really increase his lead like he did last game to 5-1. So these little differences. Yes, David Biden-Cope in the chat says the USCA is very proud to host this talented group of under 21 players from around the globe. They have been a pleasure to be with, and their sportsmanship is outstanding, tremendous, and I would have to agree. This is my first time meeting a lot of them this week. Some of them I've had the pleasure of knowing and competing against so far, like Levi, Blake, Sam Cuthbert, and Jack Good, and others. But a lot of these young people I have not had the opportunity to meet before this week or to see them play, and it's just been really good, really wonderful to see them in the fray of competition once more into the breach, and to handle it so well and to be so got such good sports. All right, so big clearance here from Fozzy. Oh, going for the hoop. All right, well, never say die. I don't actually mind it because he couldn't send black anywhere, and that's the thing. Black was going. Yellow didn't get set either. Black was all over yellow no matter where he cut. He could only get it, even with a good cut, slightly south of the line of the hoop. Clearing blue just gives up the slightly longer hoop attempt to black. He really just didn't get himself in good position there, no matter what he did. I think yellow would have been better served to go deep. I don't think going tight, even if he had gotten set, was a really good option there. If he had gone deep, red could have cleared black, and then if black had nothing to do to clear yellow back away, then he could have slowly started to fight his way back into that hoop from that corner clearance area. But unfortunately, that's not how it went down, and now he's staring down the barrel of a very, very long, potentially hampered south boundary clearance. Can't tell from this angle at all if he's wired or partially hampered on this. He's lining it up as if he's fairly. It's open, so he can see it. Yeah, actually, now that I can see both balls at the same time, it's open. If blue were maybe another 2 feet to the right, this would be hampered, but. Just left of it, just left. And those are shots you don't expect to hit too often, obviously. Like we said, even the best hitters in the world, their critical distance is 17 yards, even on a particularly good day. Maybe Robert Fletcher on his best days is peaking up towards 18. I don't have any stats on that, but anything getting to above 15 yards is starting to get close to a coin flip, and anything above 20 yards is well below a coin flip. Beautiful hoop. Ran that. That's actually going to be quite firm. So ran that south boundary. Alex asked why a foot of relief there on that shot from Fozzy, close to the fence we can't see. So a lot of the Egyptian courts, because of how aggressively they hit the ball, have barriers around them that are fairly close by. So it's common practice to take a healthy amount of relief. I was just watching part of the video of the World Championship final between Reg Bamford and Ahmed Nasser, their Game 5 the other night, where Reg won in the fifth game with a boundary line hoop 13, and he took, I think, 2 feet or more of relief off of the line just because of the barrier behind him. So a lot of them, it's a reflex action. They're just used to sort of moving the ball in. I've caught myself doing it at times too when, for some reason, we're not using string here, obviously, but when the string is maybe a little bit sort of taut off the ground, sometimes the white line can be a little bit distracting. But so at that distance, and with nothing potentially hampered, it's neither of the players is going to really consider that an issue that they need to bring up. If it were a hoop shot, a boundary line hoop shot, then obviously I'm sure Levi would say, hey, I need you not to take relief there. But but on a 30-yarder, it's a marginal difference, and it's a reflex action, I believe, on the part of Fozzy, and he didn't probably even realize that he did it. All right. Important clearance here. I think he's not. I think he's fully open on it. That's fine. All right. So amazing clearance there from Levi, hits left half of that red ball, manages to get it all the way down to hoop 3 again, or just behind hoop 3. And there might be yellow, and the peg might be, yep, you can see Fozzy's physical reaction. You can see Fozzy there. He can't see that black ball. I don't know if it's the peg and yellow or both or one or the other, but this is going to be a hoop shot. And yeah, so this is a wonderful angle, actually. This is perfect. So this is not easy. There's really no margin for error here. The court has some curvature to it, so there's a lot of luck that would be involved with making this, but he'll have to put a really good swing on it. Yeah, and you can see just right off of his mouth, that was a little bit to the right. That's a desperate shot. You don't want to be doing that. But when you're in that position, he just knows Levi has too good of a chance of making that hoop. You could set up tight because Levi's not that close, and you could say, listen, I'm going to try for a block. If I don't get it, blue didn't stick too close around. It's north of the peg over there on the west boundary, as you can see. Make the hoop. If you don't make it, I'm in perfect position for this. So at least put some pressure on that shot. I might have been tempted to put pressure on it. Maybe we're seeing a touch of frustration there from Fozzy. You could see sort of an expression when he couldn't see that black ball. Maybe there's just a feeling that, man, things are just sort of working against me. Black here with about a 3.5, 4-yarder. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. And that's the thing. I just really would have liked to see maybe red set there instead of just wail at that hoop. So that was the now, although I will say, Fozzy gets to run the gambit. And you know me, I love the gambit. So for those of you who were not with us on the live stream when I was talking about the gambit, brace yourselves. For those of you who heard it before, just, this is your moment to tune me out for a moment. So Danny Honeycutt put forward the idea years ago that he would rather be the first ball to hoop 9 from 3-5 down versus being the second ball to hoop 9 from 4-4 all. So basically, if Fozzy had made hoop 8 there and Levi was the first ball to hoop 9, Danny would say that's a worse position to be in more times than not than being 3-5 down and having the first ball to hoop 9. And it's kind of the extension of the idea that hoop 2 doesn't matter. It's basically saying hoop 8 doesn't matter because the first ball to hoop 9 can make hoop 9, control hoop 10, and then defend hoop 11. And so if you can be 3-5 down, you can find yourself 5-5 and then 6-5 up if you play a good sequence of hoops. And if you're 4-4 all and you give up the first shot to hoop 9, you can go down 6-4 rather quickly by the same token. So, and then that would not be good. There's no hard data on any of this. There's just vibes. There's just gut feelings. And I have ran a lot of gambits. There's been several gambits ran here this week that players have told me about. So I'm joined here in the booth by Mohammed. It's good to see you. So, and he'll be doing some Arabic commentary for all of our Egyptian viewers. So we just want to make sure that all of you guys are being brought the action in as high quality as we can. So thank you, Mohammed, for joining.
Okay.
So.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. محمد علي معاكم من ساراسوتا، نهائي بطولة العالم للشباب تحت 21 سنة. بنلعب نيوزيلاند واللاعب المصري فوزي حلمي. النتيجة الآن 5-3 في الجيم الثاني، وفوزي خسران الجيم الأول.
Ooh, wrong ball.
شايل الكرة الغلط.
Almost made the hoop off of that. Beautiful hoop. And the gambit is on.
Yeah.
Can he make it stick?
4-5 دلوقتي.
Tom Cooper says, congrats to the SECC and the USA. A great tournament, well run, and the video team, of course. Thank you, Tom. Tom Cooper, one of the members of the USCA Management Committee, been very instrumental in recent years in the advertisement and promotion of croquet across the country. And actually, I have to thank Tom for being the person to get me into my first USCA tournament, because he heard me at the Collegiate Nationals, which I guess could be counted as my first tournament, basically complaining that I wanted to play tournaments, but I had no idea where to look. And he was like, well, where do you live? And I lived on Long Island, and he said, I happen to be going to a tournament there next month. I'll send you the invite. And Tom Cooper was the reason that I joined the West Hampton Mallet Club and met all the people I did. And so without Tom being in the right place at the right time and being, kind and generous enough to actually bother with me when he didn't have to, I may not be sitting here today, and I may not have been able to enjoy this game at the way I have. And so thank you, Tom, for all of that and all that you've done.
دلوقتي بنلعب على الأرسول العاشر. فوزي المفروض يلعب بولاج على الكرة الزرقاء.
Big clearance here. If he doesn't hit blue, blue obviously is probably going to run the hoop. But with the other option open, if he wants hoop 11 as well, he has a good angle to right half red down towards corner 1 and slide over to hoop 11 and then just take the slightly longer hoop 10 shot with black. And you see the frustration. Thank you, Paul, for the kind words. It's somewhat cathartic to have an outlet for the stream of consciousness. The little rat race running in my mind all the time. It's like TV static.
بيلعب ستوب شوت.
Good shot. Rolled a little bit past where he wanted it, but as you can see from this camera angle, still a runnable hoop. And with yellow down at the south boundary, he needs this block. He needs black not to take this.
على ملعب رقم 5 بتلعب جانا سعيد ضد جيسيكا. جانا كسبانة الجيم الأول 7-3 وخسرانة في الجيم التاني 5-3. ربنا يوفقها إن شاء الله وتكسب في نهائي بطولة الباول.
About a 4-yarder. Is this a jump?
جامب.
Oh, he gets it. He's been so good at those jump shots. So good. Boy's got hops.
6-4 لصالح ليفي. ليس كويس من فوزي.
Just checking there to see how runnable that hoop is. You can see one of the American players there, Asher Scantlin from Oklahoma Wesleyan University, acting as a scorekeeper. If the wind picks up, he's going to Mary Poppins into the distance. But it's very hot out here, so you don't want to be sitting out in the sun. So thank you to him for taking some time and still being here. He had a good tournament. We saw some of him on the live stream earlier this week. And a rare miss from Levi, unforced error at 7 yards.
لعب بولاج بالكرة الأولى جلة. إن شاء الله ربنا يوفق فوزي ويقدر ياخد الجيم دوت عشان نقدر نخش في المباراة. فوزي بيحاول يلعب على ارسوهين ال 11 وال 12. رمى هافوي. الكرة الحمراء.
Alex says so much for the gambit. Yeah, well, the gambit is kind of predicated on you getting 9 and 10. Alex asks, is there another kind of gambity thing that says skip hoop 10 for 11 and 12? Not to go 6-4 down. So the idea of the gambit is to level things 5-5 and then take the shorter defense at hoop 11 to go up 6. Another miss.
جلبوا ليش؟ ال 11.
All right, so
ربنا يكرم فوزي. حاول ترحل.
quite angled, but short, and he's been very good at powering through these. Oh, he looked like he took a little off of that. And just
دخل
barely
جاست باس.
squeaked through.
مش حلوة. الارسوهات هنا طالما ضرب عليها كرة واحدة لازم تدق الارسو.
See, the problem, Alex, I think, is
ما ينفعش تلعب كده.
Fozzy doesn't know what the gambit is. If he knew that he was running the gambit, I think he would have. I think he would have been more confident. So he just thought he was behind, but he actually didn't realize that he was in the midst of it. So anytime I go 5-3 down with the first shot to 9, first words out of my mouth, I'm like, oh, the gambit is on.
خد بليس شورت على ال 12.
According to my phone here, we have about 256 people in the chat right now watching this live stream. So thank you guys so much. I'd like to hear from all of you. Shout out where you're watching from in the world. I've seen people in here from Spain. I've obviously been seeing people from here in the USA, from New Zealand and Australia. So if you're from parts unknown, let us know and what time it is there. And thank you so much for tuning in at all the wee hours. A soft hoop attempt here. Ooh, that's interesting.
فوزي بيلعب نص ضربة على الارسو ال 12.
I get that he's feeling under the gun because of yellow,
كانش بعيد. كويس.
but I don't know. I think at that point, with where black is, I would just try to maybe just stop shot blue. Lagging at a hoop of that length on these courts is going to be just too inconsistent for my tastes. But then again, Fozzy is used to some character on the courts. I haven't played there yet. I will this fall for the Open, but I've been told that some of the Egyptian courts can have a lot of break on them and get quite hilly, which will make some very interesting plays. So Fozzy, no stranger to having to play the break, read the green. Thank you, Alex. You know, at one point when I was a child, actually, it was a dream of mine to be a stand-up comedian, but I'm too stage shy.
خد وقتك والعب.
But so Lami Rana from France, hello. Prosciutto e rucola, delicious, from New Zealand, and Ahmed Al Sharafa from Egypt. So thank you guys. Glad to see we're. Ooh, this is going to be a tester. So I think he can just see it with his mallet. I think he has a shorter mallet head, I think, than most do. Yeah, he got it though. Always got to be careful with those. When you have a carbon fiber mallet, he has wood, but when you have carbon fiber, you don't want to be slamming the handle of that into the crown of the hoop too much. So I've seen guys break their mallets that way. Tony Elkin says 4 p.m. the motherland. All right. Levi here asking for a ref. Shots hampered by yellow. I don't think red even jawses him.
When there is an update on court 5, I will tap you on the shoulder.
John Bishop says John and Sue in the UK, 4 p.m. Lamirana, Palestine. Weren't you just in France? So, Greg currently enjoying the live stream whilst flying over the Black Sea on the way to Hong Kong and then Melbourne. All right, Greg Fletcher coming home again. So, I haven't gotten a chance to play at the Hong Kong club. I've seen pictures, and Michael Albert was there recently, and he had nothing but nice things to say. It's a beautiful view, beautiful venue, great, friendly people. So maybe we can get a tournament organized. They only have one lawn. Maybe we can get a tournament organized for a few players and live stream it from Hong Kong one day.
جانا بتلعب على الملعب رقم 5 اتعادلت في الشوط الثاني 5-5.
Everybody's over
ولكن
in,
هي
in the
كسبانة
East.
الشوط
Jose
الأول
Rivas in
7-3.
Shanghai.
I can't understand. What you're doing is great.
All right, so a referee out here just carefully marking everything, just in case there's a fault and balls that may get moved will have to be replaced. I can't quite tell what he's going for. He might just be trying to push red behind the hoop. I don't think red runs or even jawses. Be interested to see what he's trying to accomplish from this. I don't think he can get in the hoop either. Not. Maybe he's trying to get. Yeah, I don't know if I like that play. And maybe he's seeing things I'm not seeing just because of the camera angle. But I don't know. It just looks to me like with where black is, turn around, stop yellow as far as you can get it, keep blue where it is. Red's gonna have to get right in front of the hoop. It can't get in the
بيلعب
jaws,
رازع
and
على
then
كرة فوزي جلة.
yeah, and so his only options there was to clear black or get right in front of the hoop and try to block the hoop out. But
فوزي شال الكرة
black and
السوداء
blue would
بس
both
رايح
be at a
بعيد.
good angle that black could just set up. Blue could clear it from the side, or black could just clear it from the side first. So I don't see why Levi felt compelled to hit that red ball like that when it was that
مهم
hampered.
جدا البليسات.
So I think that was maybe a
خسارة
little
اللعيبة
bit
المصرية
of just trying to
أدوا
force
أداء
things.
كويس بس البليس ما كانش كويس.
Katrina Bullen says, "Looks like Jana just ran the gambit. Jess was up 5-3, and it's now 5-5." Well, yeah, that's the first half of the gambit. Now you got to win. But it is technically sort of the first phase of the gambit that gets the game back sort of to not quite equilibrium, but from 5-3 down, much more equal than it could have been. So, shout out to Danny Honeycutt for giving us the gambit. Good clearance there from Fozzy. Ball hopped a little bit, but stayed relatively close to the hoop. Be able to defend that quite easily. Fozzy will be looking for maybe. So if you're Fozzy, you want to, and you're 6'5" down, you want to extend the hoop as long as possible until you can get some sort of position that allows you to get a ball up to 13. So if you feel like you can keep control of the hoop long enough and just keep center ball clearing and just tweaking positions, maybe get a ball in the jaws, you'd like to manufacture a way to get up to 13 to take away the advantage. As Ethan Gumbrell told us yesterday, 70% favorite to win if you're the first ball to 13.
بليس كويس من فوزي على رسول 12.
Basilio asking if Jose Rivas under 21. So me and Jose are gonna play next year. We're just gonna get down on our knees and so just pretend that we're in middle school. So, Levi doesn't need to get down on his knees, Alex. So, oh, what a good shot! I think that's blocking. I think it's got a piece of it.
فوزي بيشيل دلوقتي بولاج في ال 12. برافو فوزي.
He'll wish he had stayed. I wish he had stayed a lot closer, maybe. So I think black is blocking red shot on the hoop, so this would have to be a jump of some sort. You can see Levi checking it there. So Levi we maybe see Levi not even try to clear this. Levi is very, very big on hitting though. So even if it were partially blocked, I wouldn't give up this jump shot. I would just make him work. Because if I miss the clearance anyway, I'm not off sides. If he's gonna jump, he's gonna jump. Yeah, he can choose to do the stop shot, but then I'll just get another 14-yard clearance back the other way. Good to know, Jose. Well preserved and putting on that sunscreen. I just tell people I've been. Oh, what a shot! That's what you want to see. So Levi just putting it on his mallet. He's like, oh, no, I'm not going to risk you making that jump shot and go to 13. We'll end it here. He just wants it done. So Fozzy now staring down the barrel of a 15-yarder, give or take, to keep game 2 alive.
فوزي بيلعب بالكرة الحمراء، هيشيل البولاج. بيلعب بولاج في الأرسول 12.
Big shot. Very steady. Just a little bit left of that ball. Oh, it was close. I think he liked it off his mallet. He didn't see any sort of reaction when he hit it. I think he expected that one to connect. All right, well, Levi now with a completely unchallenged, maybe 2-yard, 1.5-yard hoop attempt here at 12. Both of Fozzy's balls 10+ yards away on different boundaries, so we're expecting to see a fairly smooth hoop shot here. Yep. No pressure. Much closer than the first game. So Fozzy there rallied a little bit, started to find his groove a touch, 7-5, made some good hoop shots. Just didn't quite connect on some of those longer clearances that he was hitting the other day against Blake Fields. So we'll see here if Levi can close out the deal. He had 2 really strong games with similar scores, actually, I think, against Jack Good yesterday. And then it was game 3 that kind of fell down for him. So you can see Fozzy there looking at his mallet alignment, maybe just adjusting the grip tape. He's got to be beating himself up just a little bit. He obviously expected a better opening performance for himself today. He's been playing super, super well, and he's been here before in a final. But so yeah, we'll see if we can. There's still a lot of croquet left to be played. He can turn this around.